The spaceship Odyssey 1 drifted silently through the cold emptiness of space, its crew on edge. They had been sent to explore Saturn's rings, a mission that was supposed to be routine. But nothing about this day felt ordinary. On the bridge, Captain Ryan Hayes stared at the massive object hovering just beyond the icy debris. It wasn't natural. The ship, if it could even be called that, was enormous, easily dwarfing anything humans had ever built. Its surface shimmered like liquid metal, reflecting the faint light of the distant sun. "What do you think it is?" asked Lisa Monroe, the communications officer. Her voice was steady, but her hands trembled slightly as she adjusted the controls on her console. "I don't know," Ryan replied, his tone calm but firm. "But we're here to find out." Kyle Bennett, the ship's engineer, leaned over his own station, scanning the alien vessel with every tool at his disposal. "It's not giving off any recognizable signals," he said. "No radio waves, no energy spikes. Nothing." Ryan frowned. "That doesn't mean it's not watching us." For several minutes, the crew sat in tense silence, studying the mysterious craft. Then, without warning, the ship lit up. Bright, pulsating patterns appeared across its surface, shifting and changing like some kind of living language. The lights seemed almost playful, yet there was something unnerving about them too. "Is it trying to talk to us?" Lisa asked. "It looks like it," Ryan said. He turned to her. "Try sending a basic signal. Start with numbers. 1, 2, 3, and see if it responds." Lisa nodded and began typing commands into her console. A series of tones transmitted from the Odyssey 1 each corresponding to a number. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the alien ship reacted. Its glowing patterns shifted again, mimicking the sequence perfectly. "That's impossible," Kyle muttered. "How did it understand so fast?" Before anyone could answer, the ship did something unexpected. Instead of continuing the numerical exchange, it emitted a sound that echoed through the Odyssey 1's speakers, a deep rolling laugh. It wasn't human, but it was unmistakably laughter. Lisa blinked in confusion. Did it just laugh at us? Ryan rubbed his temples. "Maybe it thinks we're funny. Or maybe it's mocking us," Kyle said darkly. "What if it's testing us, seeing how we'll react?" Ryan shook his head. "We can't jump to conclusions. Let's keep trying to communicate." Over the next hour, the crew experimented with different methods. Lisa played recorded music, hoping it might resonate emotionally. Kyle sent diagrams of Earth's solar system, while Dr. Emily Grant, the mission biologist, shared images of animals and plants. Each time, the alien ship responded, but not in ways anyone anticipated. When Lisa played a soft piano melody, the ship mimicked it with a series of high-pitched chirps. When Kyle transmitted the diagram of the solar system, the ship rearranged its glowing patterns into what looked like random shapes. And when Emily showed pictures of lions hunting gazelles, the ship suddenly emitted a loud roar-like noise, followed by more laughter. "This isn't working," Emily said finally. "It's like it's playing a game with us." Ryan sighed. "We need to figure out their rules before we make things worse." As the crew debated their next move, the alien ship made one final gesture. A beam of light shot out, enveloping the Odyssey 1 For a brief moment, everyone froze, unsure if they were under attack. But the light faded as quickly as it came, leaving behind only static on their screens. "What was that?" Lisa whispered. "I don't know," Ryan admitted, "but I have a feeling that this is just the beginning." The crew exchanged uneasy glances. Whatever the aliens wanted, humanity was about to learn that first contact was far more complicated and unpredictable than anyone had imagined. The crew of the Odyssey 1 was no closer to understanding the alien ship, but they couldn't ignore it either. The strange vessel continued to hover nearby, its glowing patterns shifting in ways that seemed almost playful. Captain Ryan Hayes knew they had to try something different. If numbers and music hadn't worked, maybe showing the aliens human behavior would help. Let's send them images of Earth, Ryan suggested. Show them what life is like for us. Lisa Monroe nodded and began compiling footage from global broadcasts. People working, families laughing, cities bustling with activity. She also included clips of Earth's natural beauty, oceans, forests, and mountains. When the transmission was ready, she sent it toward the alien ship. For a while, there was no response. Then, the ship's lights flickered rapidly, almost as if it were processing the information. Suddenly, a new signal came back, a distorted version of what the crew had sent. Instead of peaceful scenes, the aliens returned chaotic images of car crashes, explosions, and animals attacking each other. What are they doing? Kyle Bennett asked, scratching his head. It's like they think we're violent or something. Dr. Emily Grant frowned. Maybe they misunderstood the footage. Humans can be aggressive sometimes, and they might have focused on that part. Ryan crossed his arms. We need to show them we're not all bad. Let's try explaining ourselves better. The next step involved personal interaction. Using their communication system, Lisa attempted to speak directly to the aliens. She chose simple phrases like, "We come in peace," and "We mean no harm." To her surprise, the aliens responded, not with words, but by mimicking human facial expressions. Their glowing patterns formed shapes resembling smiles, frowns, and even raised eyebrows. They're copying us, Lisa said, amazed. But why? Maybe they're trying to learn, Emily suggested. If they don't understand our language, they might be using body language instead. Encouraged by this progress, Ryan decided to take things further. He invited the aliens aboard the Odyssey 1 asterisk. It was risky, but he believed face-to-face contact could bridge the gap between species. After sending the invitation, the crew waited anxiously. Hours passed before the alien ship finally responded by extending a long, slender tube toward the Odyssey 1 asterisk. A group of insect-like beings emerged, their translucent bodies shimmering faintly. These must be the Veilith, Ryan whispered, watching them cautiously. The Veilith moved awkwardly, their limbs clicking against the metal floor. They wore odd-looking suits made from shiny materials, clearly an attempt to mimic human clothing. One of them stepped forward, its glowing patterns pulsating rhythmically. This was likely their leader. "Welcome," Ryan said slowly, raising his hand in greeting. The Veilith tilted its head, then raised one of its clawed appendages in imitation. Everyone on the bridge exchanged nervous glances. Things got stranger when the Veilith leader began speaking, or at least attempting to. Its voice sounded mechanical, piecing together phrases from old TV shows and movies. "Greetings, Earthlings," it said in a deep, robotic tone. "Live long and prosper." Lisa stifled a laugh. "They've been studying us." "Yes, but they're getting it all wrong," Kyle muttered. "Look at their outfits. They look ridiculous." Despite the humor, tension lingered. The Veilith didn't seem hostile, but their behavior was baffling. Every gesture they made felt exaggerated, as though they were performing rather than communicating. Even worse, their attempts to copy human actions often came off as mocking. When Emily smiled warmly, the Veilith bared their sharp teeth in return, making her flinch. They think smiling is threatening, Ryan realized. This isn't going well. As the meeting dragged on, the crew grew increasingly frustrated. The Veilith simply didn't grasp basic concepts like politeness or sincerity. Everything they did felt like a warped reflection of humanity, leaving the crew unsure whether the aliens were friends, foes, or just hopelessly confused. By the time the Veilith left, Ryan felt drained. "We've made contact," he told his team, "but I'm not sure we've made any real progress." Outside, the alien ship remained in orbit, its lights still dancing. For now, humanity's first encounter with extraterrestrial life was less about harmony and more about misunderstanding. And as the crew prepared for whatever came next, one thing was certain: They were in uncharted territory. The crew of the Odyssey 1 was exhausted, but they couldn't afford to rest. The meeting with the Valith had left them more confused than ever. Captain Ryan Hayes paced back and forth on the bridge, his mind racing. How could they make the aliens understand humanity if every attempt led to more confusion? "They're not getting it," Kyle Bennett said, breaking the silence. "Every time we try to explain ourselves, they twist it into something else." Lisa Monroe nodded. "It's like they're seeing us through a funhouse mirror. Everything is exaggerated or wrong." Ryan sighed. "We need to find a way to show them who we really are. Not just what we do, but why we do it." Dr. Emily Grant had an idea. "What if we focus on emotions? Show them how humans feel. Joy, sadness, fear, love. Maybe that will help them see us as individuals." The team agreed it was worth a shot. Over the next few hours, Lisa compiled new footage. This time, she included scenes of people crying at weddings, laughing with friends, hugging loved ones, and even comforting strangers in times of need. She also added recordings of music, soft melodies meant to evoke feelings rather than entertain. When the transmission was sent, the Valith responded almost immediately. But instead of understanding, they seemed to grow more confused. Their glowing patterns flickered erratically, and their ship began emitting strange noises, mixtures of laughter, sobbing, and random bursts of static. "They're mixing everything up," Emily said, shaking her head. "It's like they can't separate one emotion from another." Ryan frowned. "Maybe they don't experience emotions the same way we do." Things took a turn for the worse when the Valith started acting on what they'd seen, or thought they'd understood. Across Earth, reports poured in of bizarre events. In New York City, holographic projections of giant animals appeared in the sky, roaring and stomping as if reenacting scenes from nature documentaries. In London, streets were suddenly flooded with advertisements featuring oversized human faces smiling unnaturally wide. Even worse, weather patterns shifted dramatically in some regions, creating storms that mimicked Hollywood disaster movies. "What's happening?" Kyle asked, staring at the news feeds on his screen. "The Valith are experimenting," Ryan said grimly. "They think they're helping, but they're causing chaos." Back on the ship, tensions ran high. Lisa felt responsible for the mess. "I didn't mean for this to happen," she said quietly. "I just wanted them to understand us." "It's not your fault," Ryan assured her. "We all underestimated how much they rely on imitation. They're not thinking critically. They're just copying what they see." As the crew debated their next move, Emily discovered something alarming. While analyzing data from the alien ship, she noticed unusual energy spikes near Earth's orbit. "They're not just observing us," she told the group. "They've been studying us for a long time." "How long?" Ryan asked sharply. Emily hesitated. "Years, maybe decades. There's evidence of probes hidden in our atmosphere. They've been collecting information without us knowing." The revelation shocked everyone. The Valith weren't newcomers. They'd been watching humanity from the shadows, gathering data to form their distorted view of Earth. Ryan clenched his fists. "This changes everything. We're dealing with a species that doesn't just misunderstand us. They've built their entire perspective on fragments of our lives." "We have to fix this," Lisa said firmly, "before things get worse." Ryan nodded. "Agreed. But first, we need to figure out what they truly want, and why they think we're so dangerous." Outside, the alien ship loomed larger than ever, its lights pulsing rhythmically. For now, the Valith remained silent, as if waiting to see what humanity would do next. The crew knew they were running out of time. If they couldn't find a way to bridge the gap between species, the consequences could be catastrophic for both humans and aliens alike. The crew of the Odyssey 1 knew they had to act fast. The Valith's experiments on Earth were spiraling out of control, and humanity was growing restless. Governments debated whether to retaliate, while citizens panicked as strange phenomena disrupted their daily lives. Captain Ryan Hayes felt the weight of responsibility pressing down on him. If they didn't find a way to communicate clearly with the Valeth soon, the situation could escalate into disaster. "We need to show them something deeper," Lisa Monroe suggested during a tense meeting on the bridge. "Something that goes beyond actions or emotions, something that defines us as humans." Ryan raised an eyebrow. "Like what?" "Stories," Emily Grant chimed in. "Personal stories. Humans connect through sharing experiences, our struggles, hopes, fears. Maybe if we tell them about ourselves individually, they'll start seeing us as more than just patterns to copy." The idea made sense, but it was risky. Sharing personal details with an alien species felt vulnerable, almost naive. Still, Ryan agreed it was worth a try. Each member of the crew recorded a message, speaking directly to the Valeth. Ryan talked about his family, his wife, and 2 kids waiting for him back home, and how much he missed them. Lisa shared her dream of becoming an astronaut and the sacrifices she'd made to get there. Kyle spoke about his love for fixing things and how engineering gave him purpose. Even Emily opened up, describing her fascination with life and her hope to one day explore other planets. When the messages were ready, Lisa transmitted them to the Valeth ship. For a long moment, there was no response. Then, the alien vessel's glowing patterns began shifting rapidly, almost like it was processing the information. The crew held their breath, unsure what would happen next. Finally, Unit 47, the apparent leader of the Valeth delegation, emerged from their ship again. This time, its glowing patterns formed a question mark. Through their mechanical voice box, it asked, "Why do you act separately? Are you not one?" The crew exchanged puzzled looks. "What does that mean?" Kyle whispered. Emily stepped forward. "I think they see us as a collective, a hive mind like they are. They don't understand individuality." Lisa nodded. "That's why they keep copying us instead of listening. To them, we're all the same." Ryan took a deep breath. "Then we need to explain it better. Tell them that being different is part of what makes us human." With renewed determination, the crew worked together to clarify the concept of individuality. They showed examples of teamwork, creativity, and cooperation, all born from unique perspectives. Slowly, the Valeth seemed to grasp the idea. Their glowing patterns softened, and their movements became less rigid, almost contemplative. Unit 47 tilted its head, as if deep in thought. "You are many," it said hesitantly. "But still, one." "Yes," Ryan replied firmly. "We're individuals, but we're also part of something bigger. We work together because we choose to, not because we have to." The Valeth's reaction was unexpected. Its glowing patterns dimmed slightly, and it emitted a low hum. For the first time, the crew sensed vulnerability in the alien leader. "We were once many," Unit 47 admitted, "but we lost ourselves to survive." The revelation stunned everyone. The Valeth weren't just imitating humanity. They were searching for guidance. Their own history had forced them to suppress individuality, leaving them unable to comprehend human diversity. Now, faced with a species that embraced uniqueness, they were struggling to adapt. Ryan realized this was an opportunity. "We can help each other," he said gently. "You've learned from us, and maybe we can learn from you too." Unit 47 paused, its glowing patterns flickering uncertainly. Then, it extended one of its claw-like appendages toward Ryan. It wasn't a threat, it was an invitation. As the crew watched, hope began to grow. The Valeth might not fully understand humanity yet, but they were willing to try. And for now, that was enough. The fragile bond between the crew of the Odyssey 1 and the Valeth grew stronger with each passing day. After Unit 47's admission about their lost individuality, the aliens seemed more open to learning about humanity. Captain Ryan Hayes knew this was a turning point. If they could guide the Valeth toward understanding, it might prevent further chaos on Earth. "We need to undo the damage they've caused," Ryan said during a meeting on the bridge. But we also have to teach them why their actions were harmful. Lisa Monroe nodded. Maybe we can show them how humans solve problems. By working together. Kyle Bennett wasn't so sure. They've been watching us for years. What makes you think they'll change now? Because they're trying, Emily Grant replied firmly. Unit 47 admitted they don't know how to be individuals anymore. That's why they keep copying us. They're searching for guidance. Ryan decided to take action. He proposed a joint effort between the crew and the Valith to repair the disruptions on Earth. The aliens agreed, though their methods were clumsy at first. When tasked with removing holographic projections from cities, they accidentally created even larger images in the sky. Instead of calming storms, their attempts to stabilize weather patterns made wind stronger. They're not great at subtlety. Kyle muttered as he watched another failed attempt. It's okay, Lisa said, trying to stay patient. They're learning. Slowly, the Valith began to improve. Under the crew's guidance, they dismantled their experiments piece by piece. Holograms faded, artificial weather settled, and Earth started returning to normal. The process was slow, but it gave humanity hope that the Valith truly wanted to make amends. Meanwhile, tensions on Earth remained high. General Paul Carter, a military leader, argued that the Valith couldn't be trusted. They've already proven they're dangerous, he told UN Ambassador Rachel Dawson during an emergency summit. We should neutralize the threat before it escalates. Rachel disagreed. They've shown willingness to cooperate. Attacking them now would destroy any chance of peace. Back on the Odyssey 1 the crew discovered something shocking. While repairing one of the Valith's devices, Kyle accidentally triggered a hidden compartment. Inside was a small, glowing container holding what appeared to be a human brain suspended in liquid. What is this? Emily asked, her voice trembling. Unit 47 explained hesitantly. It is a sample from your kind. We studied it to understand you better. The revelation horrified the crew. The Valith had taken parts of humanity without permission, treating them as objects to analyze. Ryan struggled to contain his anger. You had no right to do this, he said sharply. Unit 47's glowing patterns dimmed, a sign of remorse. We thought it was necessary. We did not mean harm. Despite their shock, the crew realized the Valith's intentions weren't malicious. They were simply misguided. They had approached humanity like scientists studying an unfamiliar species, unaware of the ethical boundaries they were crossing. Determined to move forward, Ryan suggested sharing more about human ethics. We value consent, he explained. Taking something from someone without asking is wrong, even if you think it's for a good reason. Unit 47 processed this information slowly. We will remember, it said finally, and we will do better. As the days passed, the collaboration between humans and Valith deepened. Together, they worked to clean up the mess caused by the aliens' experiments. On Earth, public opinion shifted as people witnessed the Valith's sincere efforts to fix their mistakes. Even skeptics like General Carter reluctantly acknowledged their goodwill. However, not everyone was willing to forgive. Victor Lang, a wealthy industrialist, saw the Valith's advanced technology as a threat to human dominance. Believing the aliens would render humanity obsolete, he secretly funded a rogue faction to sabotage the alliance. His agents infiltrated the Odyssey 1 planting explosives meant to destroy the alien ship. When Lisa discovered the plot, she alerted the crew immediately. Working quickly, they disabled the explosives and exposed Lang's scheme. The betrayal shocked both humans and Valith, but it also strengthened their resolve to protect their newfound partnership. By the time the crisis was resolved, Ryan felt a sense of cautious optimism. The road ahead wouldn't be easy, but humanity and the Valith had taken the first steps toward mutual understanding. For the first time, Ryan allowed himself to believe that peace was possible, not just between two species, but across the stars. The betrayal by Victor Lang's rogue faction left both the crew of the Odyssey 1 and the Valith shaken. It was a stark reminder that not everyone on Earth trusted the aliens or wanted peace. Captain Ryan Hayes knew they had to act quickly to prevent further conflict. If humanity turned against the Veilith, all their hard work would unravel. "We need to show people that this alliance is worth saving," Ryan said during an urgent meeting on the bridge. "The Veilith have proven they're willing to help. Now we need to prove it to the world." Lisa Monroe nodded. "What if we broadcast everything? The misunderstandings, the experiments, and how we're working together now. Let people see the truth for themselves." Kyle Bennett frowned. "That's risky. Some people might still see them as a threat no matter what we do." "It's a risk we have to take," Emily Grant replied firmly. "If we don't try, fear will win. And that's exactly what Lane wants." Ryan agreed with Lisa's plan. The crew worked tirelessly to compile footage of their interactions with the Veilith. They included clips of the aliens undoing their chaotic experiments, helping repair damaged satellites, and even assisting in disaster relief efforts on Earth. They also added personal messages from the crew, explaining how their initial fears had turned into cautious trust. When the broadcast went live, reactions were mixed. Some people were moved by the story of cooperation, while others remained skeptical. News outlets debated whether the Veilith could truly be trusted. But over time, public opinion began to shift. Images of the Veilith working alongside humans softened hearts. Even critics like General Paul Carter admitted the aliens seemed sincere in their efforts. Meanwhile, the Veilith continued learning about humanity. Unit 47, their leader, grew more curious about human values. "Why do you care so much about trust?" it asked Ryan one day. "Because trust is what holds us together," Ryan explained. "Without it, we can't build anything lasting." Unit 47 processed this quietly. Its glowing patterns flickered thoughtfully before replying. "We wish to earn your trust." "Tell us how." Ryan smiled faintly. "Keep doing what you're doing. Show us you're here to help, not harm." As the days passed, the bond between the two species deepened. The Veilith began sharing parts of their own history, revealing why they struggled to understand individuality. Long ago, their kind had been enslaved by another race, forced to suppress their uniqueness to survive. Over generations, they lost the ability to think or act as individuals, relying instead on collective behavior. "This is why we copy," Unit 47 admitted. "It is all we know." Emily felt a pang of sympathy. "You're trying to rediscover what you lost. That takes courage." The Veilith's vulnerability touched the crew. For the first time, they saw the aliens not as strange or dangerous beings, but as a species searching for its identity, just like humanity had done countless times throughout history. To celebrate their progress, the Veilith invited the crew aboard their ship. Inside, the environment was alien yet strangely beautiful. Glowing walls pulsed softly, and strange melodic hums filled the air. Unit 47 led them to a central chamber where a crystalline structure stood, etched with intricate patterns. "This is our gift to you," Unit 47 said, "a symbol of our journey together." Ryan examined the crystal, his reflection shimmering in its surface. "Thank you. This means a lot." As the crew returned to the Odyssey 1 they felt a renewed sense of hope. The Veilith weren't perfect. They still made mistakes, and there were moments of frustration. But they were trying. And for now, that was enough. Back on Earth, the tide of public opinion continued to turn. People began seeing the Veilith not as invaders, but as partners. Governments signed agreements to collaborate on scientific projects, and plans were made for future joint missions into space. For the first time in history, humanity stood united, not just among themselves, but with another species. The road ahead would be challenging, but Ryan knew they had taken the first steps towards something extraordinary. Together, humans and Veilith were ready to explore the stars, not as strangers, but as allies. The final days aboard the Odyssey 1 were filled with a mix of pride and reflection. Captain Ryan Hayes stood on the bridge, gazing out at the shimmering alien ship that had once seemed so intimidating. Now it felt like a symbol of hope, a reminder of how far both species had come. "It's strange," Lisa Monroe said softly as she joined him. "A few weeks ago, I thought we were staring down an enemy. Now, I feel like we've made friends." Ryan nodded. "Not just friends. Partners. They've shown us they're willing to learn, and we've shown them we're worth trusting." The Valeth had completed their efforts to repair the damage caused by their earlier experiments. Earth's skies were clear again, its weather stable, and its people beginning to heal from the chaos. The aliens' sincerity had won over even the harshest critics, including General Paul Carter, who reluctantly admitted they've earned a second chance. As the crew prepared to return home, Unit 47 and several other Valeth visited the Odyssey 1*1 last time. Their glowing patterns were softer now, almost warm, as if they too felt a sense of accomplishment. Unit 47 presented the crew with another gift, a small, intricately carved object that pulsed faintly with light. "This is for you," Unit 47 said through its mechanical voice box. "It holds our gratitude and our promise to continue learning." Kyle Bennett turned the object over in his hands, marveling at its complexity. "What does it do?" "It is a memory," Unit 47 replied, "of our time together, so neither of us forgets." Emily Grant smiled. "That's beautiful. Thank you." Before leaving, the Valeth shared one final piece of news. They would remain near Earth for a while longer to monitor their progress and ensure no lasting harm had been done. But after that, they planned to continue their journey across the stars, carrying the lessons they'd learned from humanity. As the Odyssey 1* began its descent back to Earth, the crew gathered on the bridge to reflect on everything that had happened. Kyle leaned back in his chair, letting out a long breath. "I never thought I'd say this, but I'm actually going to miss those weird bugs." Lisa laughed. "Me too. They weren't perfect, but they tried harder than anyone expected." Ryan looked at each of his crewmates, feeling a deep sense of pride. "We all did. This wasn't just about them. It was about us too. We proved that even when things go wrong, we can find a way to fix them, together." When the Odyssey 1* touched down, the world watched eagerly. Crowds gathered around the landing site, cheering as the crew stepped out. Reporters shouted questions, but Ryan held up a hand, silencing the noise. "We didn't just meet aliens," he said, his voice steady and clear. "We built a bridge between two species. It wasn't easy, and there were mistakes along the way. But we chose understanding over fear and cooperation over conflict. That's something we should all be proud of." The crowd erupted into applause, and for the first time in weeks, Ryan felt a weight lift off his shoulders. Humanity had faced its greatest challenge and risen to meet it. In the days that followed, plans were made for future missions. Scientists worked closely with the Valeth to develop new technologies, while diplomats drafted agreements to ensure peaceful collaboration. The crystalline structure gifted by the Valeth became a symbol of unity, displayed in the United Nations building as a reminder of what could be achieved when two worlds came together. As Ryan returned home to his family, he couldn't help but think about the possibilities ahead. The universe was vast, full of mysteries waiting to be uncovered. And now, humanity wasn't alone in its journey. With allies like the Valeth by their side, the stars no longer seemed so distant or so lonely. For the first time in history, Earth looked outward not with fear, but with hope. Together, humans and Valeth had taken the first steps toward a brighter future, one where differences weren't barriers, but bridges. And as Ryan tucked his children into bed that night, he knew one thing for certain: this was only the beginning.